On the western edge of the Peak District is the small town of Bakewell. It is charming, beautiful, and full of character. We're going to let you meet one of those characters, Mark, the owner of the Riverdene Guest House, which is where we stayed. We'll also give you a tour of the entire guest house, not just our room, but the other rooms that he's got available as well. You'll meet his dogs, you'll see his breakfasts, and I think you'll find this is one of those places you just might want to stay if you're in Bakewell.
Welcome to Well Traveled Life with Jonathan and Jennifer, and today we're talking about our recent stay at Riverdene.
The Riverdene, Mark's guest house.
Yeah, and that was a very special place. A shout out to Mark.
The town is special. Bakewell is special.
Yeah, really is.
But Mark is special.
Yeah. We had a lovely ensuite room in the house. Lovely bathroom, comfortable bed, lots of airflow, windows. With the room, we got breakfast each morning. I think Mark is a former chef, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And it showed because breakfast was lovely. Each day I had full-on English breakfast with a bowl of cereal.
Yeah, your starter.
Yeah, that's how I do it. And it was just excellent. What'd you have, Jen?
I would have egg on toast, which sounds so simple, but so much better than what you would expect egg on toast to be. He's really got some chops in the kitchen.
Yeah. But good conversations with Mark every morning. He definitely has a story or two.
That man is a storyteller.
He has two lovely French bulldogs, JJ and Bella, and we fell in love, and I think it was reciprocated. I think they loved us, and just lay by your feet, and just beautiful animals. But really just enjoyed conversations with Mark and some of the other guests. The first morning we ate breakfast by ourselves, and the second day I think the other rooms and the guests were there, and they were lovely. A lovely couple from Australia, and a couple of women guests from England that we really enjoyed talking to them. And that's one of the appeals to us of staying at an Airbnb is the possibility of both having a great host, which we certainly did with Mark, but also other guests that we really enjoy. So
I think that's really true. Great point. That every once in a while you want a cottage or a flat on your own just so that you can kind of do your own thing, and that's really great. But when we were in a place like Bakewell for just a couple of days, I loved being someplace where we could get great recommendations from Mark really quickly. We didn't have to do a whole lot of research. And we got to meet other people and see what they were seeing and talk to them about their experience. So I think that's really true.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Yeah. And Mark did give us some great pub recommendations. A former guest who was back doing some yard work, he had some great recommendations about some local pubs. Both Mark and Ray did. So really enjoyed that kind of local, wisdom and sharing that makes it special.
Ray had done a pub crawl the weekend before while he was there, so he had been to all of them. And we had seen a pub on our way into town and had asked about it. And Mark had sort of said, yeah, probably not your best bet, and steered us in another direction. We went elsewhere. And then, so interestingly, the couple that we met from Australia had gone to the same pub that we had asked about and came back and said, yeah, only so. We should have taken Mark's recommendation and gone elsewhere. Mm-hmm. So I think there really is value to asking those questions and getting good advice about where to go and what to do.
Yeah. So Mark, I hope you see this, and remember our offer to host you when you come to Texas.
As long as you bring your dogs.
We'll make it special.
Thanks so much.
Enjoy.
Idyllically situated on the banks of the River Wye, Bakewell's the biggest town in the Peak District National Park. It's got stone buildings, a stone bridge, quaint courtyards along the streets, and it's a place for painters, photographers, sightseers, and artists to soak in the beauty of this country town. If you roughly think of Bakewell as being bordered by the river on one side and the church on the other, you will find that this is an incredibly walkable little town. And from Mark's house, the Riverdene, you are right in the heart of it. You're right at the river, so the furthest place you'd probably need to get to is the church, and it's just a short walk away. We made it in under 10 minutes. If you're interested in learning more about the town of Bakewell, watch our video in Eat, Sleep, and Play. We'll share with you some of our favorite places to eat and make sure you learn about that famous Bakewell tart. But let's tour the Riverdene and get to know our host Mark and the co-hosts JJ and Bella, and past guest Ray, who comes and volunteers. If you're traveling to the Riverdene by car, you'll come in on the A6. You're going to look for the Brocklehurst Outfitters sign, and it will be on one side of the road, and there is a lane, a small back lane on the opposite side of the road. You're going to take that back lane to follow to the bottom corner, and you'll be right at the back of Mark's house. The Riverdene does have space for parking at the rear of the property, which is private and free. But if you had extra cars or additional people, there is a public car park directly across the bridge, which would be so easy to get to. And even as crowded as Bakewell can be, we found space there all the time. During market days and events, that may be the one time it will be full. He will have 3 spaces there, 2 that are obvious, and then 1 behind the garage. From the parking area, you can walk through the back garden and come around to the front of the house. We generally left from the front door and would go out through the front gate, but when we were going to the car, we always went back through the garden at the side and the back. As you can tell, we had rain while we were there, so this is probably a good time to mention the only rule Mark has at his house is that you remove your shoes when you enter the front door. He has drip mats right there for you. Leave them there, and that will help protect his carpets and keep his home clean. Mark's home is a split property and shares a central wall with his neighbor. While we were there, that other side was for sale. Gotta tell you, there was a little bit of a temptation for us, but we also wonder if it might not be a temptation for Mark and he could have more rooms available to rent out. Big advantages of the Riverdene Guest House is its proximity to the river. You come out Mark's front door, go out the gate, and you literally are right at the river. You can hear the river from room 1 where we were staying, and you can see the river from the front yard. We had an unusual and charming welcoming committee as we arrived at the guest house. Ray was working in the yard, Bella and JJ were greeting us through the windows, and Mark met us at the door.
My name's Ray. I've met Mark last week with my wife Lindsay for the first time as guests at Mark's 5-star Airbnb. And I had nothing to do today. My wife's working, so I've come back from a town called Loughborough, or you might call it Luga Baruga, and come to give Mark a bit of a hand with his garden.
We knew we were in for something special when we met a guest who'd come back to volunteer to work for a day.
I'm a happy B&B owner that was so surprised by this.
You can still have nice surprises.
I could come back next Friday and do the same thing.
Let's get into the tour of the guest house. As you walk in, you will go up the stairs. All of the guest rooms are upstairs. Ours was room number 1, which is at the front of the house. Mark had very graciously brought our bags upstairs while we had been out at the river. All we had was our backpacks, but that carried all of our camera equipment, etc. I think Mark was a little surprised at how heavy they really were, but that was a treat for us that we certainly hadn't expected. You will enter the suite through this door, which is a locked door and has a key. Although the front door remains unlocked 24/7, each separate room has its own lock. So our suite has a lock on the door, and to be very honest with you, we never locked it. The bathroom is immediately inside. It has a full shower with a handheld as well as a rainfall shower head, an air bathtub, so bubbles, and both of the mirrored cabinets open so that you can store things. There is really nice lighting. The hot water is hot. The shower definitely has enough force. It's like a power shower. And the toiletries are really luxurious. There's a shower gel, a hand wash, as well as an alcohol germ hand cleaner, shampoo, and conditioner. You then have a separate doorway into your bedroom. The first thing you'll notice is the built-in wardrobe and vanity area. The bed is a king-size bed with really fine linens that Mark hand washes and presses for you. He will set up a tea tray and bring tea to your room upon request. And he'll go over the breakfast plans. He serves breakfast from 8:30 to 9:30. You can pre-order porridge if you would like that. Otherwise, when you come to breakfast, you have a choice of the smoked haddock with eggs or egg on toast or a full English breakfast. We'll show you the other rooms upstairs, and then we'll talk about the breakfast, because that's going to be one of the special parts of your stay at Riverdene. The blue room is the second room available, and it is right next door to number 1. Every room has a window that opens and frosted glass so that you still have your privacy. And probably the most beautiful part of each of these rooms, they're all individually decorated with really high-end materials. You've got these really sumptuous wallpapers with chair railings, and then the linens are all top-notch. Each room has been designed with guests in mind, with things like plugs and light switches on either side of the headboard. These are the things that make your stay so comfortable. Each guest room also has at least 2 luggage racks so that you can lay your suitcases out and have easy access to your things. And if you're an unpacker like me, every room has space to lay things out, whether it's a freestanding closet like this or built-in wardrobes like the other rooms. They all have radiators, so rooms are heated. And there's underfloor heating in the bathrooms. This ensuite bathroom has a full shower, has a rainfall shower head. Love the wood tiling on the walls. Beautiful heated towel rack, obviously the loo, and a large sink with a really nice platform around it. And like the others, the mirrors are actually cabinets, so really helpful for storing stuff. This is a perfect place for a single night, but probably an even more perfect place for a longer stay. We had left doors open so the dogs could be with us, but that is up to every guest. At the opposite end of the hall from room 1 is a bathroom and a bedroom. They aren't attached, but it is a bathroom specifically for this bedroom. The difference is that you would need to come out into the hallway in order to use the bathroom. But the other 2 bedrooms have ensuite bathrooms, so it isn't likely that you're going to get caught in the middle of the night. This room also has the built-in wardrobes, a beautiful bed with linens, a window that overlooks the back garden, as well as sees out to the town behind the house. The river in the front yard and the marketplace literally in the backyard. You are so well situated. And Bakewell is well suited to shopping and dining out. It is a charming town. Mark does most of his shopping locally, so what he serves for breakfast is the best of what you can get. Mark is college trained and has 50 years of experience in the catering industry, and so it's no surprise that breakfasts at the Riverdene are really special. It starts with your beverage of choice, be that coffee or tea. It will be special, extravagant, sublime. and made especially for you. He was kind enough to let me taste test the variety of teas that he had, so I had 3 or 4 cups of tea for breakfast, but each one of a different variety. I fell in love with that Earl Grey tea. The meal begins with a classic table setting and a pressed serviette. Jonathan opted for a cereal starter, while I began with a fresh yogurt, berry compote, and a fresh fruit salad that we were able to serve ourselves using the chafing dishes by the fireplace. Jonathan's full English breakfast was nothing short of fabulous. He had it every day. I had scrambled eggs on toast, which you might think sounds simple. It was not. That toast was buttered. Mark had cut the crust off without my even having to ask, and those eggs were the richest, most flavorful, but fluffy eggs I've ever had. Because we travel so much, we do not have pets anymore, and that's probably the hardest part of our life of travel. So having both JJ and Bella was really a special treat for us, and Mark was so generous with them. We got to play and cuddle with them and watch them just be the darling little people that they are. He let them spend time with us. We got to play and do all of the things that we don't get to do at home. Mark is devoted to them, and it was fun to watch him play with them too. These guys have a good life together. If you've watched our other videos with really interesting hosts, you know that those connections are so important to us. And if we have the opportunity, we really like to find out the story behind the people that we're staying with. And Mark had such an interesting story. He has been running this guest house on his own as his way of working into and through retirement. It's obvious that he enjoys the company and is such a fabulous host. It isn't always an easy job.
It's just feast and famine.
Yeah.
Feast and famine.
And it isn't just the uncertainty of how busy you're going to be or not be. It's the daily rigors that go with this.
Laundry. Just unbelievable amount of laundry.
With the vagaries of this job, there are rewards, and Mark is such a storyteller. One of his first guests presented one of the best challenges.
Believe it or not, I'm very shy. Okay? So I could tell he was shy. Some of my most gregarious people are shy. I know it's a contradiction, but I know what it means because I'm really shy, so it works. It's the flip side of the same coin. You got in a mess with something and you put the toilet paper into the loo to sort of flush it away without touching it, and then you blocked up the toilet and then you flushed it and then it all overflowed, you see. And I went, oh, I know what he's done. So I just had to break down that fear in him that made it, you know, I'm working on this one. I'm going to bring him out of his shell. So JJ came pottering in, and he was ever so quiet and what have you, and JJ walks in, walks straight under the table, right, and starts licking his feet. Right? So he sat there, and I'm literally, he's gone from yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. That's all I'm getting to. How I didn't wet myself laughing, I don't know. I was going, don't laugh. Yeah, they got going, and I said, oh, I'm sorry. I said, no, it's all right, it's all right. I just was not expecting it at all. I was not expecting it at all. And I was just like, going, keep your face straight, keep your face straight. And then, I'll just make you some tea, I'm going to go. And I couldn't keep my face straight. And it was lovely in the end, it was really nice.
Thanks for sharing this time with us and with Mark. I hope you enjoy the Riverdene as much as we have. We will look forward to getting back to Bakewell at some point in time, and we wouldn't stay anywhere but with Mark at the Riverdene.
So,
Lovely to meet you.
very nice to meet you.
I've had a great time, I don't know about you.
We'll be back.
Appreciated the hospitality.